122 years ago, the Iowa legislation declared the wild prairie rose the state flower. The year was 1897. Now, I would like to think that they chose the wild rose as the state flower because it was so prolific and could be found anywhere in the state at that time. The wild rose grows in pastures, meadows, and a lot of roadside ditches. But however, it was named the state flower because it was engraved on some silverware that was being donated to the Iowa USS battleship. 1897 is the same year that the first American seagoing battleship, named in honor after Iowa, was launched. And so that same year, the wild rose was engraved on the silver platters that were going to that battleship. Now that's where my research ends. I don't know who commissioned that the wild rose would be on that silverware, but that's how we ended up with our state flower. I am the Iowa Prairie Girl. I am wearing my new Iowa Prairie Girl t-shirt, and I am on the state border between Minnesota and Iowa. I am in the northwest county of Mitchell County. I'm on my way home to Saragota County. So as we go along, I'm going to stop and check out all the different wild roses that I find along the way. So stay tuned. Change in plans. When I left the state border, I figured that I would see wild prairie roses all the way along from the Minnesota border until my home in Saragota County, which is about a 45-minute drive. And I did see a few patches as I first left the border, and then sadly I went a good 40 minutes without seeing another wild rose. So that is truly disappointing, to be able to drive 40 minutes in the Iowa countryside and not see a wild rose or the state flower. So I am on my road in Saragota County, right on the Worth and Saragota County line, and I am in a ditch here, and I have some wild roses in front of me. When the state legislation decided to make the wild rose a state flower, they didn't specify which wild rose. There are several species in Iowa, and basically any wild rose fits the classification of the state flower. And so for that generalization on the wild rose, that is how I will apply this video as well. There are several species. Many of them are very similar to each other. There is a killdeer that does not like me being down here. They're very similar to each other, and it would take an expert to distinguish between the two of them, and I am not a wild rose expert. I am just an enthusiast. So that's how we will base this video. So some things that I do know about the wild rose: they are very fragrant. I got my nose right down in here. They smell just absolutely beautiful. So they're fragrant. They're also that the flower there's essence in the oil is used for stress relief. That's one thing that the wild rose is used for. The petals, the flower itself has 5 petals. It's about 2 inches across. The colors vary from a very light pink to a very, very dark pink. Just a huge variety of beautiful pink colors that you can find the wild rose in. As I mentioned, there's 5 petals. They're kind of wavy, a real broad petal there. The rosebuds are always darker than what the actual flower is. Just beautiful rosebuds. The petals are edible. You can eat them like in a salad. People have candied them. They're just really add a unique flavor or a unique color to any kind of salad. The leaf, they come in a leaflet, compound leaf. There's about 7 to 11 leaflets in the compound leaf. The size is usually about a ½ inch long. That depends on how much moisture the plant is getting. And then, speaking of moisture, the plant is a wildflower, so it has a very, very long root, and that root is between 10 to 12 feet long. And so it is very drought resistant because it can go way down into the earth and get all the moisture it needs. The root is used or has been used for a medical purpose with the native Indians or the pioneers used it to make an eye drop that was used for inflammation or irritations in the eye. The leaves are also used for a tea, as well as the root. What else can I tell you? Oh, after the flower blooms, it develops what we call a rose hip. That's the fruit of the plant. It has a tart apple, plum-like flavor. Someone's wondering why I'm down in the ditch here. It's eaten by birds, rabbits, squirrels, deer. It's also can be consumed by humans. The fruit is edible, but you want to be careful not to eat the seeds. The seeds have like a barb on them, which can cause some real irritation to your bowels if you were to eat those. So people have made jellies or syrups, jams out of the fruit from the wild rose. It's also very, very rich in vitamin C. They say that 3 rose hips equal the equivalent of 1 orange. Here we have another rose bush here in the same ditch. The blooming season for the wild rose is in June. It usually lasts for about 3 weeks, although you can find wild roses blooming until late summer. The petal itself only lasts for a few days. It's very fragile. And as I mentioned earlier, the flower is very fragrant. As you can see, it does grow into a shrub-like a bush. It's usually about an average around a foot to 2 feet tall. The bottom part does become rather woody. The top part is more green branches, and that's where you might find some of the thistles for the rose bush. So this is Iowa Prairie Girl. I'm out in the ditch here enjoying the wild prairie rose. I again encourage you to get out and enjoy those wild places around you. Right now the wild rose is blooming. I hope that it doesn't take you as long to find some in the roadside ditches as it did me. I do know that they are blooming in the Rock Falls Prairie like crazy right now. So again, from the Iowa Prairie Girl from the ditches in Sarasota County, thanks for watching my video. Please make sure to share it as much as you like. Press that subscribe button and become a subscriber to my videos. Next week we might look at the spiderwort, and we have lots of options of other flowers that are blooming. So please stay tuned. It's the Iowa Prairie Girl signing off.